Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to replace the hybrid battery. Like how to replace cells in it that become weak. And codes P3000 and P0A80 are codes that let us know that you need to change the hybrid battery. But in this case, we're not going to be replacing the whole pack. We're just going to be taking it out and fixing the cells that are bad in it. First thing you want to do is get a 10mm and take off the 2 bolts on the corner. They're like hook things that strap it down. And then there's 2 that hold on these side pieces. So you'll need a deep 10 to get those. And then 2 on the back corners of it. 2 tins. And then another hook on the bottom on both sides. So there's 4 hooks and then 2 bolts on each side. And then you can just pull all those out. Take the plastic off. And then this little tray thing will just pop right out after you unvelcro it from the back seat. Pop that little tab out and then that's out. Pull this out and then there's 1 wire on the back side for that light, and you just gotta unhook that. And that pulls right out. And you do the same for the other side, but there's no wire on that side. Before you go any further, make sure you take this orange plug out. If you don't take it out and you touch the orange wires, it will kill you because of high voltage. Now you need a 14mm on an impact to take the seat bolts out. There's 4 of them. There's 1 on the corner, and there's 1 in the middle that holds down that one. So you get the 1 in the middle right there, and then the 2 on the other end. And then you just slide the seats back. Now you'll need a 12 on the impact to take off all the brackets that hold down the big hybrid battery pack. There's probably 20 to 30 of them bolts. Now back to the 10mm to take the side cover off to get to the 2 connectors in the center that you have to take off. So once you get that off, you have to unplug the wires in the middle. There's 3. You just get them all with your finger. Now you'll need an 8mm on the impact to get the 2 high voltage wires that go into the hybrid battery pack. And then them just slide right off. And those are the wires that will kill you if you don't have the orange plug off. So just slide those back, and then the hybrid battery's out. And just pull it up and pull it out of there. Okay, so you need to pull those black plastic covers off of the side of it. They just pop off with a screwdriver or something. And after that, you're going to want to take the end bolts off, which are 12mm. So you just have to take the top 2 off and then just loosen the bottom 2. Now you just need an 8mm to take all the side nuts off of the battery cells. If you don't have a code reader to tell you what cell is bad, you will have to use a voltmeter. And if you see one that's like 1 or 2 volts off from the rest, then that's going to be your bad cell. So that's the one that you're going to need to replace. There also is 8mm bolts on the bottom, so depending on how far back you go, that will tell you how many you need to take off. So you take those all off on both sides to get to the cell that is bad. Now you want to flip it over and do the same thing but on the other side. Now just use a screwdriver to pry these conjunctions off. They should just pry off easy unless there's a lot of pressure if the cells are hot. Like in this case, the cells are pretty hot, so it's harder to get off. But just pry those off of there. Okay, so we got to the cell that's bad, and we're going to use a screwdriver and pry it out of there. It's easier if you take the first cell out. It gives you a lot more room. And if you try doing this while the pack is hot, then it'll swell up, and it's really hard to get back together. Now that we got the two bad cells out, a little trick that I've learned, you just slide the rest of them back, and the new cells that you put them towards the front of the pack. So if they end up going bad again, you don't have to take off all these cells. You just have to take off a few in the front. Now that I got two of the new cells, it's time to put them in the front of the pack. In this case, the pack is hot and all the cells are swelling, so we need a hammer to get the last cell in there. The original 12 bolts to tighten them together won't reach because they're all swelled, so you need to get a couple longer bolts to suck them back in tight. Once you got them all sucked in and them all tight, it's time to put the side rails back on and put the 8s back on there. And that's how you fix a hybrid battery pack. Now it's time to reinstall into the car, and then you should be good to go.